Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, we are going to be unboxing, setting up, and reviewing the Sonos Arc Ultra soundbar. But before we can get to that, I want to show you my living room because I've got a big problem. You see, the living room itself seems pretty great. You have a large, comfy sectional sofa, an 82-inch 4K Samsung TV, and even some in-ceiling surround sound speakers. But even with all of that, the sound quality when I watch movies in here is absolutely awful. And that's where this $1,000 Sonos Arc Ultra soundbar comes in. The Sonos Arc Ultra packs 14 speaker drivers, 8 woofers, 2 of which are up-firing for Atmos, 3 tweeters, 2 of which are side-firing for an ultra-wide soundstage, and of course, you can't forget about the all-new Sound Motion woofer, which features 3 additional drivers to deliver deeper bass and greater sound immersion. The Arc Ultra utilizes Dolby Atmos to achieve what Sonos is calling a 9.1.4 spatial audio experience, and the soundbar is roughly 46.5 inches long, 3 inches tall, and just over 4 inches deep. The Arc Ultra weighs 12.7 pounds and can be minimally mounted on your wall for a clean aesthetic. But by far the most important part is it can be paired with the Sonos Amp, which controls my in-ceiling speakers to deliver a full surround sound experience. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox this soundbar right here. If my calculations are correct, well, my calculations are the shipping info. This was 22 pounds, so it's super heavy. We have similar latching mechanisms on the side if you want to take a look at that. All we're gonna do to unlock it is unlatch it on both sides. Boom, and then the top should just lift right off. Wait, there's actually tape on the bottom of this. Now we're good. So we'll open that up. And then we have a nice felt wrap. Yeah, that's actually, it's long, but it's slim, you know what I mean? So it might actually fit into that void over there. Setup instructions, startup guides. So it looks like we're gonna have power and data. We have a standard plug, HDMI cable, boom. So we'll go ahead and take the speaker out and see what it's looking like. I think this is supposed to be pretty similar to the Arc, which we did a review on when it first released. So we'll see what the Arc Ultra is looking like. We got it in black, as you can tell. So it does look really similar to the original Arc, except the buttons actually, look at the button layout on the back there. The button layout is actually all the way on the back, giving it a really clean aesthetic up top and up front, looking really nice. And then on the back, you can see we have our mounting screw terminals. Apparently, I've heard that you could use it with the old Arc mount, but Sonos obviously recommends that you get the Arc Ultra mount. This is a little bit different in size, dimensions, and weight, so I would probably veer on the side of safety there. We're gonna have our power port, which is located right inside of there. And then obviously our data or HDMI on the other side. And then obviously we are gonna have a RJ45 Ethernet port right there in the middle. It looks like we do have a mute toggle button for our audio and then a Bluetooth button as well. Pretty simple design, looks super clean. But let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in and we'll work through our app setup. All right, so you guys might be wondering where I'm gonna put this Sonos amp, and that's actually gonna go right here in the cabinet. If you take a look in here, I actually already have an amp that's already powered on and wired up. This is actually for my backyard patio speakers. So my plan is to stack this amplifier that's gonna be responsible for the rear surrounds on top of it. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is I wonder if it's gonna overheat a little bit if I stack these on top of each other. They're technically supposed to be able to stack, and as you can see, it actually has a raised base so it can have proper ventilation in between the devices themselves. So hopefully that's gonna work out okay, but it's something to keep our eye on and monitor. So we'll go ahead and stack those. As you can see, it looks absolutely awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the wires through the back, and then we'll move this entire cabinet here, and we'll get both the soundbar and the amplifier wired up. So with these soundbars, you can either hardwire in an Ethernet cable, or in my case, I'm actually gonna be using the built-in Wi-Fi because I don't have access to another Ethernet cable right now at this point, which should work okay, but best practices, if you have it available, just hardwire it with data. But we'll go ahead and toss these cables back through there, and then we'll get the cabinet moved so we can finish the installation, which will wrap up on the app. I'll show you guys that in 1 second. All right. That fits in there just like a glove. I love it. All right, time to pull out the cabinets. so we can continue the wiring. I'm just gonna close my cat back there. He should be able to get out. It should be okay. All right, so you can see the boot up sequence has already started on the Sonos products. You'll see the LED start to blink, and that's because they're gonna wanna start pairing with your app. Now, the nice part about these amps is the speaker terminals actually just pull right out of the back, so you can wire up really easily inside of them. And again, I'm just kind of guessing because I have more speakers than just those rear surrounds that are wired back there. So I'm not sure if these are the ones. I don't know if I labeled these. Of course, I didn't label them, so we're just gonna have to go with the old school way, and that is just plug things in and see what happens, you know? It should be fine. So me personally, I would have went red and black, green and white for my pairs. And there you have it. Okay, perfect. So we got that wired up, we got our power, and we got our speakers. So let's go ahead and get into the app portion now, because at this point, wiring is complete for both our Sonos products, so we can go ahead and just get right into the app. At this point, you should have already connected the audio and power cables to your Sonos Arc Ultra, as well as downloaded the Sonos app. Now, the app is going to walk you through step by step with pictured instructions on how to fully set up your soundbar in under 5 minutes. When you first plug in your Sonos Arc Ultra, you may notice it's blinking orange and white, and that means it could be updating or resetting, but rest assured, out of the box, this is completely normal to see. After that, you'll notice the LED turn green, and this simply means it's ready to set up. Take a look at your app, and the soundbar may just pop up on the home screen, but don't worry, if it doesn't, select the gear icon at the top right corner. You may see a soundbar available at the top of the screen, but worst case scenario, just scroll down a little bit and you can select add speaker or component, and after a few seconds, it should pop up. At this point, go ahead and select add, and you will receive a message that says getting your Arc Ultra ready. Shortly after that, your Arc Ultra is going to play a chime noise that sounds like this. And it's going to automatically connect itself to your app. If you're like me and don't have an Ethernet plugged in, it will automatically connect the soundbar to whatever Wi-Fi your phone is currently connected to. This process is completely autonomous, so you can just sit back and relax while it does its thing. Next up, you'll need to select which room your Arc Ultra is located in. In my case, it's the family room. The app will then pair your new soundbar with any other Sonos products you may have in that particular room. Next up, turn your TV on and double check that the HDMI coming from the soundbar is plugged into the Arc port on the back of your TV. You'll see a prompt pop up within a few seconds on your Sonos app. Go ahead and select Connect TV, and almost instantaneously you'll get a success message, and you can go ahead and press done. Now you're ready to get into true play tuning, during which it's going to send out a series of sound waves that are going to measure the height, width, and depth of your room, ensuring you get the best sound quality possible. Follow the on-screen instructions by continuing through the prompts. Then flip your phone around so that the speakers are facing forward, and proceed with your phone at eyesight level. This part's kind of funny, but you have to walk around your entire area while simultaneously moving your arm up and down throughout the room. This whole process just takes a couple minutes, and yes, it is as weird to do as it is to watch. All right, and just like that, the Arc Ultra is all set up independently within the app, but now it's time to add additional speakers. This is the point where you would either add a subwoofer or the rear surrounds if you had either Play One speakers or the in ceilings with the amp combo like we do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the amplifier set up independently, and then there will be an add button where you can actually pair the two, and then we will get our full surround. I'm gonna run through this very similar process to set up the Sonos amp that we did with the Sonos soundbar. But since this isn't an amp video, I'm just gonna speed run through this, and if you guys need help with the setup, I've actually already done a setup and review video on the Sonos amp, so you can just check it out there instead. To add our rear surrounds to the soundbar, we're going to go into the Arc Ultra settings, scroll back down a bit, and beneath Connect Sub, select Setup Surround. Select Continue and confirm the speakers or amp that you want to pair with the soundbar. Continue through the acknowledgement and continue one more time after that. Wait about a minute or two and your surrounds will be added to your soundbar. Once again, it's time to do our final true play tuning, this time with the soundbar and the surrounds connected. If you have Sonos architecture speakers, you can do advanced tuning. If not, just select quick tuning. This one's a little different than last time because instead of waving your arm around, you're just gonna sit down where you actually like to watch TV. Side note, you will have to make sure your Arc Ultra microphone is toggled on for this part as well. After a few more minutes, tuning is now complete. The system will sound pretty good as is, but to really max out the sound quality, I'm gonna go back into my system settings, select the Arc Ultra, and scroll down to EQ. Since I'm not currently running a subwoofer, I'm going to increase the bass, and then I'm going to increase my height audio as well so I can get the most out of my Dolby Atmos. And finally, the most important part, I'm going to turn on speech enhancement and select select high. This way we get the most dialogue volume possible. And here's a quick sound test from one of my favorite scenes in The Batman. This will sound best if you have a pair of headphones.
Hey, Vincent! You think you can come after my money, huh?
At this point, I've been testing out the Sonos Arc Ultra soundbar for 7 full days now, and now that I have 7 days filled with movies, TV shows, and even a couple football games, I've compiled quite a few thoughts about the soundbar that I want to share with you guys. The first thing I want to bring up though is before I even started, when I got the Sonos Arc Ultra, I was thinking in the back of my head, this is $999 US. You guys know it doesn't come with a wall mount, it doesn't come with a subwoofer, and it doesn't come with any rear surround speakers. Now, a lot of the other premium soundbars that you would maybe pair up against the Sonos Arc Ultra, they do come with those things. At least some of them, you know, they'll come with either a subwoofer, sometimes they come with subwoofers and surrounds or built-in wall mounts. So what makes this soundbar so much more money when it doesn't come with all those extras? That's kind of the thought process that I had before I even got it. So all these thoughts going forward, put that in the back of your head. First thing I want to talk about is the audio quality. Just like its predecessor, the Arc Ultra gives a loud and robust audio profile and excels with punchy high and mid-tone. It has a fairly wide soundstage and does a surprisingly good job filling up a 12 by 15 foot room. However, the original Sonos Arc soundbar lacked an overall bass, and I felt like the lower end tones could get a bit muddy at times. And after extensive use with the original soundbar, I ended up having to pair in a $700 subwoofer with the Sonos Arc just to pick up the bass and lower end tones. But when I did that, I felt like it kind of ate up a lot of the dialogue, and then it wasn't really as clear when people were speaking in movies and TV shows. And this is really where the Arc Ultra sets itself apart, because it's engineered to maximize dialogue clarity. And this isn't just on a hardware level either, because it actually takes it a step further by letting you adjust things within the Sonos app. Users can go into your Sonos app settings, go to enhanced dialogue, and then there are going to be 3 different levels of preferred speech enhancement. And of course, there is a very exciting hardware level change. We do get 3 additional drivers in the all-new Sound Motion woofer, and it really does make all the difference. The compact Sound Motion technology is able to deliver up to 2 times more bass than the original Arc soundbar. It works so well, in fact, that for the first time, I'm actually content running the soundbar without adding any additional subwoofer. And because of this, it makes the value go way up in my eyes, because it's actually saving me from having to spend an additional $700 for a subwoofer. The other hidden benefit about having this software control is that any time Sonos decides to roll out a firmware update, it can improve the quality of the speakers that you already own, and I think that's really cool. And not to mention, Sonos plays well with others because the Arc Ultra also has a user-friendly voice control with Sonos Voice, or you can use Amazon Alexa that's built right in, just like the original Arc did. Not to worry though, if you don't like that, the Arc Ultra does allow you to mute the voice assistants for privacy. Just look to the back of the soundbar and go ahead and flip the mute. This certainly isn't a new feature, but definitely worth mentioning that the Arc and Arc Ultra have built-in IR repeaters on the front. This means if you place your soundbar down in front of the TV stand directly, it's not going to block you from being able to use your remote, but instead it gives you full TV control through your eARC port. Another thing I liked, it's a little bit silly, but I am a sucker for new hardware. So remember the touch capacitive buttons on the original Arc? Well, the Arc Ultra actually created a new bar that's actually located on the back of the soundbar. Now there is a new volume slider, and I really like this because you can either tap the plus or minus, or you can simply slide your finger across the bar to adjust the volume. So here's the bottom line. $1,000 Sonos Arc Ultra. Who should buy it? Okay, so if you're a person that is a Sonos fan, you have other Sonos speakers, and you do not have a Sonos soundbar, 1000% go buy this soundbar. You're gonna love it. If you are an original Sonos Arc owner who does not have the subwoofer, absolutely upgrade. It's been 4 years with the new Sound Motion technology, with the enhanced dialogue. You're gonna really enjoy and appreciate this upgrade over the original Arc. Now, if you have the original Arc and you have the subwoofer, I don't think you necessarily need to run to the store to spend $1,000 on this. I think you might be okay. Is it a significant upgrade? I believe so. But if you have both of those pieces of hardware already, you've already made the investment and you already have a lot of the additional base, and that lowers the value proposition just a little bit. So I don't think you necessarily need to sprint out to buy this one. As always, there will be affiliate links for all the Sonos products we talked about in the description below. If you happen to be new, please hit the subscribe button. And in the meantime, before the next video, go check out one of these because YouTube's telling me you might like them.